Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful and we're beautiful and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Tectone of OTK and somebody who is a friend of Asmongold has come out finally and made a statement. Now, I haven't watched the video that they uploaded. I just saw that they put it on Twitter. And so I'm going to do a blind reaction to this. Now, for those who are not content creators, blind reactions can be positive or they can be negative. I know that's very simplistic, but here's the deal. If it's a long-winded, boring video with a lot of, space where there's not a lot of, hot mic moments, if it's done by somebody who doesn't really appreciate the time of the people listening or, the audience, it can be long-winded. There could be sections where it's just blathering. And so at the end of the day, it's a gamble, because if you react to something blind and you can get that initial emotion on camera, it's a great thing. But ultimately, there is that downside. So, I'm going to risk it all for you, and I'm going to react to Tectone, who is going to be talking about the situation with Asmongold. Now, I think this is crucially important because one of my criticisms, and one of the things that I found to be just stunning, is the fact that it seems that nobody has come out to defend Asmongold, except for his fans, and people who aren't even really fans of his. I went over this in another video. I had hundreds of comments from people sharing their opinion. Hundreds and hundreds. I've had a whole lot more since then coming in, sharing their opinion. Asmongold was right. He shouldn't have apologized. He bent the knee. All of this sort of stuff. So, I'm coming into this with the hopes that Tectone stands behind his friend, willing to jump into the trenches, whether Asmongold asks or not. Because here's the deal. Maybe it's just a personal thing. Maybe it's a defect of mine. But I find the phoniness and the fakeness and the duplicitous nature and the disloyalty of a lot of these content creators to be really quite repugnant. Because in the eye of the consumer, in the eye of the audience, a lot of these people pretend to be good friends. Like, they're allies, they're compatriots. They spend so much time together. So you would think there would be some kind of bond. But usually, in fact, almost inevitably, when stuff goes down, these people hit the eject button immediately. They don't even wait to see any of the details. They just rip the eject button and boom, their parachute's out. They're already half a world away. And so I'm hoping that this guy comes out and stands by his friend, stands by Asmongold. But I gotta be honest, I got no faith. I got no faith in this. Because streamers are, by nature, a very slippery and a very duplicitous group.
Be a pretty long-winded one because I have a lot of things to say right now. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. And by the way, I appreciate the subs. I appreciate the follows. Thanks, guys. Money's tight. You know how it goes. I'm going to answer absolutely everything. And I do just want to talk from my perspective. If anybody gives it, if you don't, it's all right. I mean, I wouldn't really care either. I'm just some bald guy on the internet. And that's where I've become more and more bitter. I mean, I was in the card shop yesterday realizing how much of a bitter man I've become when it comes to content creation. I'm going to be real, guys. I really fucking hate the climate of current content creation. I think it's a fucking joke.
Preach.
I think cancel culture is, we were getting a nice reprieve, but now it's worse than it's ever fucking been.
Right.
People would like to exaggerate anything that they can
Right.
do to make someone who's a dumbass sound like a fucking neo-Nazi. But that's just my opinion. I want to talk about everything. And before I talk about everything, you guys have to understand. You guys have to understand this, and I'm going to lay it out here. I don't think I've ever really talked about this. I'm going to give you my backstory. I'm going to give you the whole truth. And then whatever questions y'all have, we're going to talk about it afterwards. I'm going to talk about how I feel, and I want you guys to know that these opinions are coming from me and not me just saying, oh, this is what my chat wants me to say. Okay, I'll say that. Like hundreds of other streamers do. Guys, I'm going to keep it a buck. I fucking hate streamers. I do. I genuinely fucking hate streamers. Genuinely. And it wasn't always this way. But the more I grew on Twitch, the more my viewer count went up and down. The more that I hate this fucking platform, how much I fucking hate social media, how much I fucking hate streamers. I genuinely really do.
Oh,
because there's no loyalty in anything. And anybody will backstab you just for fun. And I feel like loyalty is something that's lost in this community. And I feel like...
Please don't pull the rug out and do like some kind of bait and switch. You've won me over. Look, I don't really watch Tectone. I see him tweet from time to time. He seems pretty based, and I don't really know much about him, but I mean, this guy, he's speaking my language. If you're new to the channel, this is stuff that I've been saying for years. I despise streamer culture, and maybe a familiar theme for those who are regulars. I say it all the time. I hate the fakeness and the duplicity, and the way that these people just ooze. And there's no authenticity, there's no originality, it's just people pretending on camera, and there's not an ounce of soul to any of it, and it infuriates me. Because it sends a terrible message to the audiences who, for whatever reason, and it's beyond me, choose to watch these people. Choose to idolize them. Choose to give them money to make them famous. And then, when things get a little bit tough, they pull the ripcord and they're out. So, yeah, absolutely. This guy's getting me pumped. I love it. And I hope this isn't just lip service for this video. I hope this guy lives this. I hope this is something that he holds as a mantra that he would put on a goddamn t-shirt, because this is something that I believe in very strongly. I think streamer culture is a cancer. I think it is an absolute plague. And I would go probably further than him in a lot of places, because my perception of the interaction with these content creators and their fans and this sort of parasocial relationship, I find it to be really, really creepy and weird at times. Now, I understand sticking by a content creator you like. I do. But you should see some of the way that these people engage in the defense of their favorite content creator. I mean, it's absurd. And a lot of these people are not worth even a fraction of your attention. I'm not even talking about anyone specific, but I mean, you go down the list of Twitch. I mean, holy crap, it's just a minefield of human debris and degeneracy and filth and just narcissism and left-wing, this sort of left-wing cabal, this group of people that just have the worst ideas, the most toxic, poisonous attitudes for whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on an hour rant on this. I can already see myself getting heated, getting started on this. But I just got to say, what an opener. I really, really appreciate that he actually did just get right to it. Start slamming these content creators. I really, really, really do appreciate it, because it's so unbelievably true.
Like, there's a proper time and place to rage bait for everything. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like everybody's looking for any excuse to feign outrage in order to farm a couple minutes on the internet. Now, I would like to say What I'm saying is in no correlation to the Asmongold situation right now. This is me just telling you guys that I am a streamer that hates streaming culture. Now, I love my job. I love streaming to my community. But looking on Twitter, seeing what people say every day, seeing the forums, makes me fucking sick. There's been such a decline in mental health.
Yep.
The longer and longer I go in streaming, the more and more I find out how some of my favorite streamers operate behind the scenes. Some of the things that my favorite streamers have said about me behind the scenes just kind of drives me fucking nuts.
Right.
And I will say one thing that always fucks me over is that I am honest to a fault. That has fucked me for 6 years. And everyone knows it. Because I'm the dude who says the things that everybody's thinking but nobody wants to say.
Yeah, I've said this on multiple occasions. There's a reason why I'm not in the quote-unquote streamer group. I wouldn't last 5 minutes. I don't know how this guy lasts as long as he did. You know, I'm not saying that he's out of the group. What I'm saying is, I don't know how this guy lasted. Because for me, as much as I hate streamer culture, I mean, I wouldn't be farming for drama. I would just be saying it like it is all the time. I have no duty to any of these people or their narratives or their, you know, their sick little high school cliques and their cabals. For me, it would be very simple. It's like if these people do things that are right, then I would say that they're right. If they do things that are wrong, I would say that they're wrong. But there's an underlying thing beyond that. That there's this gross culture within the streaming spaces that just makes me gag. It's like beholding a world that Nurgle has infected, the Chaos God Nurgle from Warhammer 40k. You see this just disgusting oozing miasma of just green filth, and you look at it and you're like, I don't even need to get near that to know I want none of that. That will melt my skin off, and that will leave me with pustules and all forms of unsavory, unflattering, disgusting ailments and things that I don't want. That's the way that I view streamer culture. I think I even go a step beyond this guy because I just can't stand it. There's no authenticity. Nobody means anything. Nobody means what they say. Or maybe if they do a little bit, but it's all corporate. It's like, I've had criticisms with so many different people on that basis. And the way that they behave and they interact and the way that it makes me ill. It really does.
And it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It's fucked me over once, but now twice, and probably a third time today. But I am just going to say everything. Sorry for the long pretense. I'm very much trying to calm down because I'm just pissed off about a lot of things.
Right.
I understand what people want me to say. I understand what people have wanted me to say in the past. I'm going to keep this part vague. Knowers will know. I don't need to draw any attention more to this than it's already been had because I feel horrible for what has happened off of misunderstandings, not actualities, for some of my friends. Guys, you have to understand, it's very easy to know what to say and what not to say on social media. It doesn't take a PR genius. You gotta understand that any fucking retard on the internet can understand what's the right thing to say and what's the right thing to do for a career. I am not the guy who does the things that's right for the career.
True.
Because I have this thing called fucking morals. Yep. And I stick to them. For example, one of my friends got into a lot of shit recently. And this streamer is a smaller streamer. And some of you guys probably know who it is that I'm talking about. There's a smaller streamer buddy of mine who got into a lot of shit for doing absolutely nothing wrong. But because people wanted to peddle a misconception as a reality, and this streamer's too small to defend himself, he got fucked over. Not just from stream. Bro almost lost his job off of a misconception with some poorly timed clips. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to the guy. I knew the streamer he was talking to. It wasn't the one everybody was saying, because that shit would have been weird as fuck. But bro got fucked. Now, you got to understand. I understand it was a misconception. He understood it's a misconception. The internet doesn't believe it's a misconception. So what should Tectone have done as a businessman? What should I have done as a businessman? I get told this all the time. Should have trimmed the fat. Should have turned my back on him. Said, nah, I'm good. Yep. Ah, yeah, everything that you guys were saying was true. Fuck him. What a freak.
Yep.
Hate him. Never talking to him again. Never associating with him ever again.
That's what streamers
do.
do.
That's not the type of guy that I am, guys. That's not the type of guy that I am. That's not the guy I've ever been. That's not the guy I ever will be. I will hold people accountable for the things that they have done that are wrong.
Right.
I am not going to hold people accountable for what the internet thinks.
Right.
Because if what the internet thinks isn't true, then I'm not going to promote that at all. That's not who I am. Fuck that. And I hope to a lot of people that's going to freak people out. Because they're going to say, oh, well, that's not really the good content decision. That's not really best for business. That's not best for your channel growth. I don't fucking care. If I cared about channel growth, I'd still be playing fucking Genshin Impact. And I don't give a fuck. And I haven't given a fuck in a very long time. When you become my friend, I want you to know that I am always going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Now, that being said, when you fuck up, I'm also going to hold you accountable to a very high degree. To a very high degree. But if anybody ever worries, hey man, this is what I heard on the internet, you can expect me to DM you and say, hey man, what's your take on this? Saw this shit on the forums. Are you okay? What's your side? That's the type of guy that I am. Now, random non sequitur, kind of. Parallel non sequitur, done. I want to get on to the shit that I actually wanted to talk about. I need you all to know that the reason why I started being a streamer was because of Asmon. Asmon has been and always will be my favorite streamer. His content was amazing. When I played World of Warcraft, his guides, his videos were fucking insane. The dude's funny, the guy's charismatic, and he made me feel better about my life because I'm like, wow, look at his slot fuck fest of a room. I must be better than this guy. Yeah, Asmon was hilarious. Okay, and the fact that he and other people were the one who invited me to join OTK, just getting into a call with them almost 3 years now, 3 years, was surreal. Being invited by one of my favorite streamers to join OTK was a surreal moment for me. And I will always remember that call. I remember where I was. I remember what I was wearing. That day was insane. And I even remember the first day I met Asmon. It was downstairs in Mrs. House.
Oh, come on.
So, what's the verdict? Gorgeous.
You're looking incredible in that dress. This whole outfit makes you look like an angel sent from heaven. You always look pretty, but you've really outdone yourself this time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, 1 sec. What the heck? That was much higher praise than I expected!
Based.
And I went to go give him a fist bump. And after I fist bumped him, I sent a message to my group chat saying, guys, I just fist bumped Asmongold. This is so cool. He was carrying a Wendy's cup. And I'll never forget what he said. The first thing he ever said to me. Hey. That was awesome. I was like, oh, damn. Holy shit. That was fucking insane. God damn, man. Hey, it was dope. You guys gotta understand, as a streamer, I'm like you guys. Okay? Started off as a fan. Straight up content creators. That being said, there sure are a lot more shitty content creators that are rising in today's climate. Because I'll be real, guys, today's climate promotes backstabbery, and it just fucking does.
Yep.
It promotes being a fucking snake. And you guys can probably tell, guys, how many fucking snakes have I had to deal with in my life?
Yep.
A fucking lot. I've had to deal with a fucking lot. I had to...
So, you guys may have noticed on my channel, for those who are new and those who are regular, I don't really go on other people's streams. I don't have guests on my show. I don't bring people on. And it's because I don't want to become part of a group. I've never wanted to become part of a group. I don't need to collab with people or do anything. Really, at the end of the day, the only thing that I need is you guys. And I know that sounds corny. I get it. But you guys let me know what you think. You guys give me the feedback I need. And I don't need to worry about being backstabbed by people watching my content, because you can watch my content or not watch my content. You can leave a comment or not leave a comment. The transaction is very, very, very clear. The lines are concrete. I'm not looking to have a parasocial fan base. In fact, I want the opposite of that. I've said that on multiple occasions. I don't want a parasocial audience. I don't want an audience that's going to kiss my ass. I don't want whatever streamer culture tells you that you want. I want the opposite of that.
1v9 these fucking snakes and rip all of their fucking heads off. And thankfully, things have been pretty fucking peaceful ever since. And we all know that shit. Now, let me continue on here. Asmon was a guy that has been there for me no matter what in any situation that I've ever had to deal with. He's helped me deal with bullshit from other really nasty fucking people without a second question asked. When I have felt lost, he has always provided insight in a way where I'm just like, oh, fuck, why the fuck didn't I think of that? The guy has helped me tremendously. And I will never not appreciate how much of a good friend he's been to me. I will say this, and this is the part that I want to get to. Despite everything that we've talked about and we've done, I would like to show some accountability. Broad generalizations and blanket statements are never good things to do because they're too vague, and a lot of people get caught in the crossfire who are otherwise harmless individuals. Blanket statements are always stupid. They are. Okay? You can't ever overgeneralize anything. And don't get me wrong. Am I trying to say that I haven't done that? No, of course I've done that. We've all done that. The problem is that Asmon made one of the worst blanket statements on one of the most sensitive topics on the internet, and nobody wanted to hear that shit. Because that was way too vague. And that was way... It was fucking stupid, okay? And me, as someone who loves the guy, can admit that it was fucking stupid. Now, am I...
Just like that, I feel like Ron from Parks and Recreation, where he meets Eagleton Ron, and they're good friends and they're good buddies. And then Eagleton Ron starts talking about, wearing Birkenstocks and eating oat milk and nut milks and being a vegan and stuff. And then he's like, I no longer like Ron. Now, look, I understand what he's trying to say, but I think that, first of all, what Asmongold said was not wrong. So trying to tone police him, trying to lecture him on what he said, that to me is stupid. No, there's nothing that Asmongold said that was actually wrong. And by the way, there are generalizations for a reason. Generalizations are not always bad. They're not always inappropriate. There are times where they actually work, where they make the conversation easier. For example, when I use a word like woke, like this game is woke. Does it mean that every element of that game is woke? No, but in a general sense, does it mean that every person working on the game is woke? No. It just means that for the marketing, the game, and the behind the scenes, there's enough of that to make a statement like that. Now, when Asmongold is talking about a conflict half a world away, he does not owe that topic anything. He does not owe that topic any specific due deference. He said very specifically that he didn't care about this and that the culture over there is inferior to ours. The culture over there is inferior to ours. Now, you can not like that, you can kick against that, you can scream against that, but the reality is there is a very significant reason why you live here and not there. The reason why you live here is because our culture is better. Our culture is better than a lot of other places. Not all cultures are equal and to be respected. Some cultures deserve to be criticized for a variety of reasons, and Asmongold did it, even if he wasn't intending it. But the fact that you, somebody who knows him, would say, oh no, that's really stupid, I take issue with that. Because I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments that disagree with you, that disagree with that position, that disagree with that sort of sentiment. They heard what Asmongold said and they didn't think it was that bad. They didn't think it was stupid. They agreed with it and they thought he shouldn't have apologized. Hundreds of people. And that's just in my comment section, and my channel is tiny. I have 12,000, I think right now I have 12,800 subscribers. I imagine that if this guy did a video asking, hey, what do you think about this? He would get thousands and thousands that would agree with that entirely. So, I appreciate the fact that he's willing to come out for a friend. Finally. I mean, it took you long enough. The internet ripped him a new asshole. OTK stabbed him in the back. He was fired from Starforge. And now, once enough time has passed, then you've come out. Just giving you a little bit of criticism, my guy. Like, when you're going into the trenches to fight with a friend, usually that's the sort of thing you do on the day it's happening when people are coming after them. Not something you just wait and see and like, oh, yeah. But I guess, in Tectone's defense, if he genuinely felt that that statement was indefensible, even if he was a fan of Asmongold, what are you going to really do? Me personally, my position is different. I think whether you agree or disagree, when you see people coming after a friend, a guy that gave you your start in the business, you jump in, no questions asked. But that may be just a personality difference. And I'm actually not going to hold him against Tectone all that much. I just see it as waffling. That's how I see it. I see it as a lack of commitment, a lack of fundamental foundation, a lack of vision, a lack of principles. That's how I see it. Because if they're coming after your guy, you should be out there first thing making videos, making all the clips you can, whether Asmon wants you to do it or not. Because it's the right thing to do. They're coming after your guy. But, again, OTK did distance themselves from Asmon. Starforge PCs distanced themselves. So this may have been an internal thing where he had no control. But even still, I'd still do it. I'd throw up the middle fingers and just say, F it.
Am I going to go live on the internet and condemn him and call him a racist? No. I am going to call him fucking stupid, though. And he knows that he's fucking stupid. Because he shouldn't have done that shit. He made a bad fucking call. But I'm not going to call my homie a fucking racist. He was...
Oh my god. Look, I really liked your introduction. But why on earth would you call Asmon a racist? In what universe is what he said racist? I don't even think he mentioned the color of anyone's skin. He's talking about cultures. Now, I understand that degenerate, retarded, left-wing freaks on Twitter are genuinely too low IQ to be able to figure this out. These are the most simple-minded people on the planet because they are mentally ill. To a severe degree. These are people that are not able to cope with reality or living or life. There's not one thing that Asmongold said that in any interpretation that is reasonable could be construed as racist. Yet you're almost implying that it is, but you just can't say it because he's your friend. No, not only should you not say it because he's your friend, you also shouldn't say it because you should have the balls to admit that it's not true. And by the way, his statement His statement could be considered dumb from the perspective of somebody looking to maintain a career, for somebody looking to play it safe. But here's what I think happened, and here's why I don't think it's stupid. You lamented streamer culture, and you're playing right goddamn into it because you don't have the balls to take the next step. You condemn it, but you're still part of it. You don't want to break the toys. So you may rail against the cage, but you're not going to go the next step. Because if you were, you would admit that the fact is that what Asmongold said was not wrong. It was not factually wrong. It was correct. Most people who have a brain can acknowledge this, who aren't perpetually online. That was what I believe his true opinion. And he shared it. And why the hell should that be a problem? If there are people that disagree with that, let them say their opinion. And they do. They do. Oh my God. I mean, the fact that we're talking about it in this way infuriates me. I watched these freaks with the Palestinian flag vandalize. I mean, do you remember when they vandalized the bell? Do you remember when they vandalized the bell? Whatever you think of the cause, whatever you think of the issue, these people have behaved in a way that is just utterly unconscionable. And it is almost always people with the trans flag, the Palestinian flag, or the rainbow flag in their bio. Some combination of that. So if you don't think that there is some correlate, and that you can't acknowledge that that culture is inferior to our own, there's something wrong with you. And by the way, Tectone, I'm going to say something that you don't have the balls to say. You know, the reality is, the problem with Gaza and Israel, it isn't the Israelis. If people say that it is, it's not. Because if you take the Palestinians and you move them to anywhere else, they're going to have problems with whoever's around them. And do you know why? Do you know why that is? Because their culture and their religious book, their philosophy, their entire worldview is based on a medieval, barbaric, savage, completely, by today's standards, unethical individual. You compare that to the Christian ethic of Jesus Christ. Read to me the 10 Commandments. There is not this culture is good. No, the Christian ethic, the Christian culture is superior in every way. The 10 Commandments are a basic rule book. They are some of the most important laws that God gave man. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt honor thy mother and thy father. Thou shalt know no other God but me. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. These are very basic principles to live by that are superior to the words and principles and cultures of other religions. It just is. And there's a reason why the further and further we get away from God, the more demonic shit we see, the more degeneracy, the more filth, the more streamer culture bullshit seeps in. And that is because there is no love or forgiveness in the people that have rejected God and rejected Christ and rejected the Christian ethic. That's the goddamn truth, whether you want to admit it or not. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go watch the full video, you can. I went a little bit longer than I was no. I don't want to do a reaction to him reacting, a reactception. But I get the general sense. I think from the 12 minutes, I get the general sense. I like what he said in the intro. Not so much a fan of what he said in the back end. But here's the deal. I think that his response was far better than a lot of other people. It was an order of magnitude better than Hassan. And by the way, isn't it interesting that nobody's criticizing Hassan when Hassan Piker compared a Muslim terrorist to Anne Frank? Let me just repeat that because there may be some people who are looking at something else or confused. Hassan Piker, and the clips are all over Twitter, so you can go look it up yourself. Hassan Piker compared a Muslim terrorist that he supports to Anne Frank. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't the video that I was hoping it would be, but it was better. It was ultimately better than I thought. I thought there'd be a lot more waffling. I thought there would be a lot more, sort of, Asmongold is, bad, and I thought there would be a little bit more of that. But, this is what this guy feels. He felt inspired to make the video. I felt inspired to make my video, and that's the way that the internet works. That's what freedom of speech is. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.